My roommate came back, but he was supposed to be dead. All right, let me tell you about something that happened a couple of years ago. Honestly, I haven't told many people because, well, who would believe me? But I need to get this off my chest, so here it goes. So I used to live in this old, kinda run-down apartment with my college roommate, Ben. Ben was one of those life-of-the-party types, always dragging me out to places, meeting people, making bad decisions. But he was my best friend, and we'd known each other since middle school. The place was nothing special, small, creaky floors and a few too many strange smells, but it was home. Then one night, Ben got into a really bad accident. I got the call at like 2 in the morning. I'll never forget it. My heart just sank. They told me he'd been hit by a car and he didn't make it. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed in total shock, just numb. After Ben's funeral, I came back to the apartment alone. Walking into that place without him was surreal. His stuff was still lying around, clothes on the floor, his half-empty coffee cup in the kitchen. I couldn't bring myself to touch any of it. I guess I thought leaving everything as it was would make it feel like he was still around. A few nights after the funeral, I was lying in bed when I heard something in the hallway, a soft shuffling sound. I figured it was my neighbors or maybe the building settling. This place was ancient, and weird noises weren't exactly rare. But then I heard a faint knock on my bedroom door. I froze. I knew I was alone, but that knock was real. I could feel my pulse in my ears and my mouth went dry. Slowly I got out of bed and opened the door, peeking out into the dark hallway. And nothing, just silence. I told myself I was imagining things. Grief does weird stuff to your brain, right? But the noises didn't stop. Every night after that, I'd hear faint footsteps in the hallway. Once, I even thought I heard Ben's laugh, just this faint echo coming from the living room. I kept telling myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But then, things started moving around. His coffee cup, which I'd left on the counter, suddenly showed up on the living room table. One morning, I found his favorite hoodie on my chair. I knew I hadn't put it there. One night, a couple of weeks later, I was lying on the couch, drifting off to sleep, when I heard the front door creak open. I shot up, my heart pounding, and looked toward the door. It was Ben. He was just standing there, looking at me like nothing had happened. I felt this wave of terror and relief at the same time, like my brain couldn't process what was happening. He walked in, casual as ever, dropped his backpack on the floor and just said, "Hey man, what's up?" His voice sounded different, flat, almost hollow. I was so stunned I couldn't even speak. I just stared at him, trying to understand. I knew he was dead. I'd been at his funeral, for God's sake. He walked past me, right into his old room, and closed the door behind him. I just sat there, frozen. Eventually, I got up and, almost in a daze, walked over to his door. I knocked, but there was no answer. Slowly, I opened the door. The room was empty. No Ben, no backpack, just the same dusty, untouched room that it had been since he died. I barely slept that night. I couldn't explain it, and I didn't tell anyone because who would believe me? But it didn't stop there. Every night after that, at exactly 2:34 a.m., I'd hear the front door open, footsteps in the hallway, and his door closing. It was like he was coming home, over and over. I ended up moving out a month later. I never found out what was going on in that apartment. I like to think that maybe it was just Ben, stuck somehow, unable to move on. Or maybe it was something else, something that just wanted me to believe it was him. I don't know. But every now and then, when I'm up late, I still hear that door creak open in my mind. And part of me wonders if he's still coming home.